Hi, everybody. This is Leah Fresh Astrology, and it is Friday, March 2nd. I was looking at the chart for today, and it just plays this is a part of the story today, and that kind of where the moon is and the way it's linking to things that just shows this evolving tapestry that's being woven right now, um, each day toward this larger piece that has to do with all of our financial worlds. And so it's larger, it means kind of world money, finance structures, and, each country's financial structures, all of that. But for you personally, this is the best time in a long time to really find a way to feel more empowered and financially strong yourself. Finding a way that doesn't rely on a country system, a monetary system, but certainly you don't have to think that large. It's really just following your heart and what excites you and motivates you to go out each day and do something, and maybe try to make a living at that. Now, I'm not advocating to quit your job today and then without a safety net just start from scratch, because it does take a while to build a business. Most people, when you hear about these overnight successes, the quote unquote overnight success, really, if you look at what they were doing, might have taken a decade or more to build. So, meaning that they started doing something on the side a long time ago. They started learning some specific craft or skill, and they, just kind of piddled around with it for years, and then it grew and grew and grew. And that's kind of like, my own astrology business. It really was just like the side thing I just kind of did. And then it kind of led me to coaching, and now it's grown. So it's really, looking back, it's taken me, about 9 years to get where I am now. But and the whole time, I had a day job, so I had that safety net. So I'm not advocating to just quit and dive, free fall, unless you really want to. If you could afford to do that, if it's not going to hurt you to do that, then maybe for some people that would be okay. But I am advocating for really beginning. If you look at kind of what I did, and other people do this with other kinds of skills, but I just started kind of learning on the side. I took a little course. I started teaching myself and practicing. Then that grew, somehow it grew. People were starting to offer me money to do readings. I didn't even want money back then. I wasn't thinking it was a business. I was just thinking it was just this fun thing to learn. And I had other motivations too. At the time, I wasn't a big fan of astrology. Some of you may know that. So, I just started investigating and learning. And then it kind of captured it's kind of like, for me, it was like a word puzzle. So, what for you is like that, where it just draws you in and you want to learn more? What is like that for you? More recently, what was like that for me was coaching and wanting to learn more about coaching and, coaching techniques. That fascinates me. But you'll have your own thing that fascinates you. What is that? Because I'm strongly advocating for people to just take the reins, take the steering wheel, get in the driver's seat, and find a way where you can be financially empowered. There are a lot of different ways to do that. There's not just one single way. The stars are really lining up, not just today, not just tomorrow, but this is a long-term trend. So I'm going to be talking about it. It's why I'm offering money courses. So if let's see, I've got a couple coming up. If you're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, March 22nd, it's a Thursday, in the evening, I'm going to be at Dancing Moon Bookstore with my colleagues, Mimi and Carolyn, and we're going to be doing a money workshop there. So it'll be kind of the astrology of money, unlocking the secrets to your chart, money-wise, and also some coaching tools and some practical advice. So we're going to kind of do hopefully a well-rounded approach, not just astrology. So that's March 22nd. And then Sunday the 18th, I'm going to do a telecourse. I think if you go to my website, it's mistakenly called a webinar, but it's going to be just on the phone. I will send out some materials to the people who sign up so that you have reading material and some things to look at, but it is just going to be a phone call, not a full webinar, even though it says webinar. But that'll be 90 minutes of looking, kind of unlocking your chart, and I'll send you out, some educational materials so that you can figure out how to pull down your chart and have it in front of you for the class. And we'll go sign by sign and talk about how you, and it could be your rising sign, your moon sign, your sun sign, how you unlock your money secrets and your business secrets. How do you, if you haven't felt successful, or maybe you felt successful for a long time in one kind of career, but you're ready to do what I was talking about earlier, jump to something that's more about you and you being empowered, you being in charge. And that jump can be a scary one, and people don't often know how to start. They can lose a little confidence at the jumping off point. And then it just becomes this dream that drags out because it's so hard to figure out where to start. We'll talk a lot about that, where to start. So, because really, the part of finding your way anywhere, like just think of finding your way through woods or through a new town or city, is it just starts with the first step. Literally, which direction do I go in, and taking a step, and then taking the next step. We don't have to know 1,000 steps ahead what we have to do, or at that point where we go. We just need to know what step to take right now, and then the next day what step to take right now, and just on, one step at a time. So we'll talk a lot about kind of the psychology of moving forward with something like that, and the psychology of money, and kind of unlocking also the emotional components, sign by sign, how you can work with the emotional approach to money too, because sometimes that's what's blocking people. So if you want to take part in those, you can find the sign up on my website at www.freshastrology.com. But regardless of whether you sign up for those, I do encourage everyone to be thinking about, what is it you really want to do? What draws you in? A lot of people say, well, what's your passion? What's your passion? I mean, I can't say back when I started studying astrology that was my passion. I mean, I got into it because I was kind of mad at astrology and highly suspicious of it. I would hardly call that a passion. So that would have been the wrong way. And plus, if you had talked to me back then and said, what's your passion? I would have said writing. And so if somebody was saying, well, you need to follow your passion, you need to, do this, and this, and put the astrology aside, that's not your passion, and follow writing. Maybe I should have done that, I don't know. But that was my passion, writing. But what grew sort of organically, somebody asked me what organically meant, but organically means it doesn't go from point A to point B in a clean line. Organically means it grows more like a plant. And so my astrology business grew more like a plant. It did not grow like this linear prefab kind of thing, or this preconceived notion of a business. It wasn't anything like that. But what I did do is follow my curiosity. So rather than follow your passion, because sometimes our passions are just our passions, you can have hobbies and interests and passions that you never make a living from, but you enjoy. I was following my curiosity, and it just took off on its own. And I think sometimes when you're following the right curiosity, the right interest, you see where the doors open. If you find you're banging your head against a wall, that's a clear sign that that's not the right direction. So you want to be looking for where the universe provides kind of a downhill path, a downhill stream, where it just keeps going, and then there are no blockages. But sometimes people just really struggle in the beginning stage to find that, or to feel confident with that. That's what we work on a lot in coaching, and that's what we'll work on in both these events coming up in March. All right, have a great weekend.